What is going on, YouTube? We're back again today. Today we're bringing a different style of video. For those of you that are new here, my name is Ivan Compres. I'm 20 years old and I run an online fitness coaching business where I help men change and transform their lives. But with that being said, today I have my co-host,
Gabriel Pichardo.
Gabe. Tell them a little bit about yourself and who you are so they know.
Yeah, man, I'm fresh out of high school, graduating, senior, going into college. I got, big aspirations to make a career for myself. I'm a hooper as well, played all through high school, varsity 3 years. Looking to make the basketball team in college and ultimately just accomplish,
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. So for those of you guys tuning in, let's get right into it. But bro, so what we were talking about earlier in the car, we were talking about some stuff about lust and kind of like the trials and tribulations that, we face as men nowadays. I mean, what are kind of your experiences with that?
Yeah, ultimately, we were talking about how easy it is to get distracted and how easy it is to fall into things of comfort. Comfortability is good, but I think too much of it can lead you down a path where you stop progressing. You stop finding growth in the things that you do in everyday life. And it's you always want to be constantly growing, because if you're not growing, you're not making progress, you're not living in your purpose. And ultimately, I feel you just don't feel fulfilled ultimately, as a man, because as a man, we're meant to be providers, we're meant to be doers. So if you're not doing, I feel as a man, you're doing something wrong.
Absolutely, bro. And it's I always refer back to the quote, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Absolutely.
So if you're not taking steps each and every single day to live in your purpose, you are literally just getting one step closer to death. Because, right, the only thing that's confirmed and guaranteed is death, right?
Absolutely.
We come into this life, we all know we die. But it's about what we make with the time that we're here. If we don't do anything with the time that we're here, we're just getting a step closer to dying. And it's bro, it's crazy because with modern day society, people are constantly stuck in these cycles of just seeking pleasure and comfort. And it's that's why I wanted to talk some more about lust, where it's lust is one of the hardest things that a man faces on this earth.
Absolutely.
Obviously we have all the temptations, we have Instagram scrolling, you see these girls on the internet, you have women and one night stands being promoted, TV shows like Love Island being so mainstream. It's there's so many different avenues where lust is being pushed into our subconscious minds to where essentially society's just making it normal. But what's your kind of take on that, bro?
My take on it is that lust is a poison, and what I mean by that is that you'll end up feeling very, very drained. Because me personally, I've had experience with it that I was constantly falling into lust and falling into these temptations that I knew were wrong, but I couldn't get past it because I was so addicted to the dopamine. I was so addicted to that high feeling that I always got from it. And ultimately, your reward system is going to become very, very corrupted and very messed up, because you're essentially turning up that dial to the point where your daily dopamine that you need is overloaded. To the point where you always need to be in that high, that climactic, excitement, that feeling of excitement. You need that constantly. So when you don't have it, and when you're trying to, be celibate and actually focus, you lose that concentration because your body's constantly itching. It's like an addiction. So avoiding that and, doing things that, take time and are difficult and, require you to be disciplined and patient with it. Something that involves hard work and delayed gratification is so much more fulfilling, and it leads you looking towards a goal. And it's not instant, because that constantly feeding into that instant gratification, it leaves you drained and ultimately empty at the end of the day, because that's how I felt.
Exactly. Yeah, bro, it's it just leads you into almost as if a circle of emptiness. And it's every single day you wake up and you're kind of questioning is this all that life is? And it's there's so much more for you. Deep down your spirit knows that, bro, this isn't the way I'm supposed to be living. This isn't the way I'm being called to live. And as long as you're a slave to your flesh, I feel there's a cap that you can get to, a cap of happiness, bro. There's a cap, but as soon as you overcome your flesh, it's there is no cap. There's just endless happiness, peace, because you're living the way that God's intending for you to.
Absolutely.
You're living in God's will. So it's kind of bro, it's truly crazy how powerful it is to actually live and be a man of purpose.
Because I'm realizing that the reason I was stuck in that cycle of lust is because I wasn't seeing the damage that I was doing to myself spiritually, because I was feeding my flesh so much that superficially, in the moment it felt good, and it felt like, because ultimately pleasure, we feel good in the moment, but temporary things don't last. So ultimately, like I said, that high that you feel when you drop to that low and you're back to essentially your normal feeling of dopamine and your regular regulated emotions, like you feel like you're missing something. And you never want to feel like that. I feel like when you're moving with true intention and following God's desires for you, you're not you lack nothing.
You lack nothing, bro.
At the end of the day,
It's the most fulfilling thing to like surrender to God, bro.
absolutely.
Because when you try to forcefully do things your way, which lust is very forceful, right? Lust is quick. It's an emotion that wants to be acted on quickly. But things that are in God's will, bro, they're not bound to time. Like there's no rush on it. You just know it's gonna happen. God's way, they call it Godfidence, bro. When you walk in the Spirit of God, you walk in the Spirit of the Holy Spirit, it's like you're confident because you know everything is already yours, bro. Like all those dreams in your head is only bound to time. You know it's yours at some point. So it's like when you fall into those like low energetic emotions like lust or anger, whatever they are,
Right.
it's very like bound to time, very quick. It needs to be acted upon like instantly. And that's where you kind of separate, the difference between, emotions that are of the enemy and emotions that are of God.
Yeah, and like building off of that, be like Satan will constantly lie to you, especially like men nowadays, because Satan sees the potential that you can't see. So it's like he'll keep you in these cycles, like that constant circle that you're going in, and where you lust and then you regret it, you feel low, and then you get back, you're like, oh, I need to change, and then ultimately you feel those things drawing you back in, because it's like that's where Satan wants to keep you. He wants to keep you comfortable. He wants to keep you giving into these low energy things, because the second that you snap out of it, you unlock a world of fulfillment, a world of productivity, and as a man, you'll elevate so much to the point where your potential is limitless.
Potential is limitless.
And it's like once you break out of that lust cycle, I believe that for me personally, when I broke out of it, when I had that turning point and that pivotal moment in my life, I felt like I was unstoppable. I felt like I could do anything, And it's like Satan is constantly lying to men and telling them that this is the best that they can do with their life, and this is what they need to spend their energy on, to lie to them, to keep them in that cycle, to prevent them from, tapping into their true potential. I feel.
And that's the thing, bro. With Satan, it's like it's open-ended promises. Like it's stuff that's like very flattery, very glamorous. But once you actually kind of feed into it, you realize you're just destroying yourself. Those promises that Satan promises you, whether it be that girl for the one-night stand or, that Pornhub video, it's like, bro, that's not granting you any satisfaction or any fulfillment. Because truly, the only thing that's going to give you fulfillment is, walking in your God-given purpose.
Absolutely.
And it's like, it's so easy nowadays with the world that we live in to get caught up in these things. But I want to ask you, bro, like, what would be your advice to, men watching this, how they can, overcome their lustful desires and actually step into their purpose? Like, how has that worked for you in the past?
I think as a Christian, first of all, I would definitely invest in the Bible. I would read the Word of God and see because the Bible does give commentary on lust. It does give commentary on these things that men deal with, and obviously it's very well versed in sin. So I would say first is get a Bible. Learn as much as you can about it, because then once you have the truth, you can see through the deceptions that there is in this world. Secondly is, I was someone who also struggled with lust. I was constantly in these sin cycles, and every time I would be done, doing whatever it was, right? I would feel regret, I would feel low, and I would just feel sorrow, and I just feel sad for myself, right? But in that moment, I would always ask myself, what am I gaining from doing this? Where am I going? Like, isn't there more to life than this? Like, don't I have aspirations? Don't I have goals and dreams? Is what I'm doing getting me closer to those dreams? And if the answer is no, something needs to change. That's advice.
That's powerful, bro. So for those of you guys heard it here, you heard Gabe's advice, you heard our talk on lust. The importance is that you act on it, though. We can give you all the sauce, we can give you all the value we know, but at the end of the day, you can read 30 self-improvement books, but the man who reads one and applies everything is making that much more progress than you. So for those of you guys watching, take action. This is the sauce. This is how you do it. If you didn't like already, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment what you think. And for those of you seeking further help that want to actually transform your life, overcome your vices, and achieve all of your dreams, click the link down below, apply to book a one-to-one mentorship session with me. And if you're a fit, we will chop it up and take it from there. But with that being said, guys, take it easy, and I'll catch you on the next one.